Maine has a new governor, and he's the state's first Republican chief executive in 16 years.
Partisan affiliations, political leanings, the obsession with winning or losing have been getting in the way of solving our problems. We need a new approach.
When I look at the issues that we introduced to him when he first came into office, it was reflective of a declining economy. Economy was in trouble. We were coming out of the recession.
Our elderly, our veterans, disabled people, and particularly those with mental illness, we are going to take care of them. We're moving the state forward, and those who can work, we will simply ask them to get a job.
I think people will remember paying off the hospital debt. I think people will remember that we were facing hundreds of millions of dollars in shortfalls when he came in, and now we have a almost $400 million surplus. I think people remember the tax cuts. Part of this whole thing is when you elect an outsider, a business person, you're not going to get somebody who spent the last decade, getting trained by consultants on what to say. They're just going to tell you what they think.
Senator Jackson claims to be for the people, but he's the first one to give it to the people without providing Vaseline.
These are guys that are named D-Money, Smoothie, Shifty, these type of guys that come from Connecticut, New York. They come up here, they sell their heroin, then they go back home. Incidentally, half the time they impregnate a young white girl before they leave.
I've spent my life helping black people, and you little son of a socialist.
I think that people are going to look back and remember his major accomplishments, and they're going to remember those controversial moments as things that happened when a real person went into office and tried to accomplish real things.
We want Mainers to keep moving from poverty to prosperity long after I am gone.
What the governor calls reforms are very punitive, and they've had the result of just really drastically reducing the people who get assistance.
We've missed out on more than $1.2 billion, new federal dollars that would have come into our state because we haven't accepted these federal funds to expand Medicaid and provide health insurance to 70,000 Maine people.
I think that the concern here is that there needs to be funding. The governor has certainly expressed his policy preference that there be sustainable funding, but in the meantime there has been no funding.
In many ways, he showed the world that you can take a straight-talking businessman, and go run a government and be successful.
I know your governor, and I know he's very popular up there, and he's doing a very good job. People like him very much, and I like him very much.
Although his style was rough and gruff at times, he had the best interests of the state, I believe, in his heart and his soul.
You cannot help but give him incredible credit for strengthening the foundation of the state. That's very good news.
I don't see a different person. I see a man who still wakes up every morning thinking about what he can do for the people of Maine and still goes to bed every night thinking, did I do enough for the people of Maine? That's how he started, and that's how he's finishing.